For this side, that is a hippo eating a bird. I'm telling you, I picked these little Keyforge game mats up. It was just a couple of dollars a piece, if that. And I use them all the time just to protect stuff that I'm doing with this stuff, because it is a very nice, soft surface. So I don't have to worry about getting things scratched. Now, let me show you the top of this. That wasn't good. But you can see, it looks like there was a plant, like a potted plant stored on top of it. They're different speakers. They're the same, but they're different. Crossovers are different too. Let me check on that other view. That didn't sound good. How you doing? It's not broke. Okay, so we talked about seeing some differences. So that box says Realistic Nova 8B. This box says the same thing. Let me get them. These are the same. No difference. This crossover, Nova 8B. This is a Nova 8. This speaker is a Nova 8. This speaker is a Nova 8B. Now we know. I do like this one a whole lot more. You get a lot more control over your range. This one you just have switches, but maybe they sound normal or the same. I don't know. Let's find out. So another big tail, right? Really light face and a darker face. But with the grills on, you can't tell. Now, what you also didn't see or hear, unless I sprinkled it in an edit, is that this speaker is not a foam surround, it's more of a paper surround. And it's obviously been stored in some heat. Has to at some point. Because you'll see all this resin, glue, whatever that is, had all came down to the bottom. Now, I have rotated this speaker just to keep from all of it still pulling in one spot. I don't know if there's audiophiles that ever see this. I'm sure you disagree with that. So tell me what should be, because if it's something that's going to be a big issue, this is a good customer of mine, and I'll be able to go and pop it out and change it. But I don't think it's going to be an issue. I actually think this one will last a lot longer than this one. Surround on this wise. But look at this frame for this speaker compared to that one. Now that one's a stamped one. This will be forged. This looks like it's forged. There's like die markings here. This is a much beefier speaker. But enough of that. Let's hear it. This is the receiver that we went through for the same customer. So we'll use this receiver, and the speakers are going to be going home in a environment that's going to be giving them some usage and love. So that's good to see and hear. It's good to hear. I don't like the way this was stored. Now, if you watch the video on this, you'll know that we used a dim bulb tester. I'm not going to use that in this case because we've done all of our testing. We've made any modifications or adjustments that we made. You probably should check that video out. We tore this thing completely apart. I'm going to get these hooked up, and then we'll test out some music. One quick note here, something that, working with some vintage audio, overlapping hobbies tend to crossfade some unique findings. This is something that I use on my benchtop power supply. I built it to have banana plugs for easy, quick swapping, and I use them with alligator clips all the time. Now, in this case, the back of the receiver will take banana plugs, and these are the old spade type connections. So you don't have a piece of plastic you push and stick a speaker wire in. It wants a spaded, and then the screw screws down over it. So in that scenario, I can just grab a hold of the screw. Works really well. I'm going to hook this up based on your viewing angle. So the right speaker will be the speaker on my left. All right, I'm gonna come around here with you a bit. All right, so we're gonna fade this over to the left and over to the right. This isn't gonna be much of a test the difference in the speakers. We're just testing all the aspects of the speakers. And not in the best spot, but so we're going to come over to the right side. Now we're not going to go full tilt just yet, and we probably won't in general. You really want to let the speakers play a couple of songs before you really want to crank it. We're just going to get it to a level that where we can test the highs, the mids, the fades, back and forth. So what I'm going to do is mess with the crossover. I've got a high frequency range and a mid range. Right now it's set on normal for this speaker. Yeah, I can tell the difference. I don't know if the mic's picking that up. So that's normal. This is low, and that's high. So that's just basically saying a normal level, activating that, whatever that feature is for the crossover is going to be at a low input, and then the high is going to be the maximum input for that feature. This is the highs. Yeah, it's not as noticeable as it was when I was testing this set, or this speaker, but I can tell a difference. And I'm using this to monitor that you're actually being able to hear me some. I'm trying to talk over this. Okay, so this speaker is working as intended. It's not as fine-tuned controlled as this speaker is. So now that we know that this is a Nova 8 and this is a Nova 8B, there's some comparison a little bit there. You can have some fine-tuned control. So let's get it swapped over to this one. Alright, so this is basically turned everything really muddled. Everything's really down. I'm going to take the highs and go all the way. You can really start to hear them clear up. So I'm going to take them all the way back down. So I started doing it before I told you. I'm going to take the mids and do the same thing. I think you could tell a lot difference. This is just a 3-position switch. This is a knob. Now let's take, since the mids are all the way high, let's take the highs and take them all the way high. Yep, it just comes through a little bit cleaner. All right, so this is set in the normal range. This is set in the normal range. And that is balanced evenly between. Enough of that. Can't be having too much fun. It's nice when things come together. The interesting thing, the speakers being different, I think this one sounds better, but that's just me. I like the fine-tuned controls that I get out of this. I'll spin it around. So if you notice, this has knobs. Let me find it. There it is. This is knobs. So you're basically taking a potentiometer and you're adjusting the curve of that. The mid-range says it goes between 1 and 5 kilohertz. So between 1 kilohertz and 5 kilohertz. And the highs is 5 kilohertz and up. So that's how they've got that mid-range. Those two speakers being in series and the one being by itself. So one 8-ohm tweeter, two 4-ohm mid-range tweeters. I'm going to call them tweeters because that's what they are. They're not going to give you any punch. They're going to give you that frequency to fill in the gap between the tweeter and the woofer. We've got the receiver all fixed up. The speakers are all going. They have their initial first clean. Let's get these grills cleaned up. I'm just using the magnetic of the screwdriver to just easily pull these out. They are in the fabric, so I don't want to pull. I want to twist and pull. That way we don't fray any of the fabric. So this is the one with only the screws in the 4 corners. Our other one has screws in the 4 corners and in the middle here. So these are the two different speakers, but they're very similar. This is a composite grill. It's plastic. And then the back, it is screwed to a template that's made out of wood. So we'll be able to remove this wood piece from the back. So interesting note here, we called it out when we first took the speaker panels off. There is like a melted through plastic portions on the back of this grill. It just kind of like has some holes and was wanting to hold on. So be aware of that if you have these same speakers. So being able to take these grills apart will let us clean them in a manner that's going to be much more conducive, because you don't want to get this wood wet. It will swell and buckle. This can now go be tossed in the tub, a big sink, sprayed off with the water hose. It's plastic, doesn't matter. Again here, I'm just going to lift it up and make sure that these Gladys is letting go of the grilled material. And I'm not concerned about getting these mixed up. Even though they are different speakers, they have the exact same grill. So we'll get these cleaned up. I'll get the speakers put back together, and we'll come back with a kind of final walk around. I'm not going to go into great detail about how to clean these. Whatever your favorite fabric cleaner, just know that you can't soak this. You have the wood. You don't want to remove this fabric from here. Get a very soft bristle brush and a light coating of whatever fabric cleaner you're going to use, and just give these a good cleaning that way. This, go to town, just don't break it. Hot tub of water, Dawn dish liquid, and a brush, probably all you're going to need. These Nova 8 mismatch sound pretty good. This Harman Kardon does put out some nice smooth melodies. At least that's what my ears tell me. Even though these are slightly different types of speakers, they are the same speaker. They're just a different version, an iteration, so to speak. You get a new iPhone every year. Some of you. I'm still shooting on an iPhone 12. Some people get a new one every year. This is not always about nostalgia. Music sounds different when it comes out of old equipment. This Harman Kardon's not that old. These Radio Shack speakers aren't that old in comparison to some of the other stuff that's out there. But it's definitely not a very small Bluetooth speaker that you plop on the desk or the table or the tailgate. This is something you're going to add a record player to, turn on some jams, hang out and read a book, talk with some friends, or just sit in a room and listen. So, thanks for joining us here at Behind the Coil. These are actually some pretty cool coils to go behind, even though there was fiberglass in there. I'm not too itchy. Join us next time as we've got some subs we got to play with, and you're not going to believe what we're going to do with them.